Okay, so after my little rant earlier, I have sort of calmed down. I've spoke to a few people since, and to be honest with you, what I'm telling them, they are quite shocked about. Excuse me. Some places, the like advice lines and whatnot. It's okay. That's my son. He's on one. Um, Advice lines, which some of them are completely stupid because they turn around and say, yes, we can give you advice. Come down and it's going to be £150 an hour. I wouldn't be ringing you up if I could afford £150 an hour. Exactly. So, this isn't, it isn't so much of an appeal, more of, if anybody out there is going through the same thing, which I know a lot of people are. I've been reading horror stories where there's people minus £400 in from the account and stuff like that. I'm suggesting we either all of us who are going through this all arrange to meet up somewhere and discuss this and get an MP involved, or the press, or both, and get them to sit there and listen to exactly the horror stories that we are going through with this child maintenance and how it's so screwed up, it's unreal. Somebody out there has got to sit there and listen to us and express a story and horror stories that we know of and going through ourselves, so somebody actually does something about this. Because my situation is, my ex-partner is doing this through spite. She hasn't bothered about the money. Simple fact is, like I said on the other video, I've been giving her £70 a month, which I know isn't a great deal, but that's all I can afford. When I explained to her that, literally, if they go through my deductions of earnings, I won't be able to afford my car payments, and if I lose my car, then I'll lose my job. Her reply was, well, I'll get what I'm entitled to, which I've told her would be £3.50 a week, which is £15 a month. So obviously she doesn't want the money that bad. If she's willing to go from £70 to £15, that's like somebody saying to you or me, there's a brand new house there, or there's a tent. Pick one, and you pick the tent. Go figure. So obviously, people are out there doing this on purpose. Not only that, like I said before, they want the information off you, where you work, where you live, what your name is, how many times you go to the toilet, so to speak. But they only go off word of mouth that child that you're paying for, when they leave school, is in further education. They haven't got to have proof, which I think is wrong, because that child could be, for example, on £9.50 an hour. You don't know that. They don't know that. And you're still supplying the money. Which, by rights, if they're working, you shouldn't have to pay. But there is no thing set up, there's no system set up where that parent with care has got to send proof in that this child is actually in education, further education. They just go off the word of the parent, which, let's face it, most of our exes or ex-partners would lie through their teeth just to get that little bit more meat off the bone, and make your life a misery. So I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I'm sorry, but 9 times out of 10 they are. And it amazed me, actually, and it angered me so much that there is nothing in place for this. So basically what they're saying, like I've just said, and I'll emphasise it and I'll repeat it again, they ask you your national insurance number, how much you earn a year, how much do you earn in a month, where you live, what your postcode is, X, Y, and Z, and you've got to send proof in, and all the rest of it if you've had a deductions of earnings or whatever, you know what I mean. You send that in to them. But then on the other side, they're saying that this is a fair system, and it's not a fair system at all. If it was a fair system, it would be shot down the board, or they would turn around and say, well, listen, you've got £70, he has got to live as well, or she has got to live as well. So why don't you just take the £70 and go with what he said? He isn't saying that he's not going to pay the arrears off. He's turning around saying this is what he can afford at this time. Take that rather than him be out of work. But as well as not just that, why isn't the stuff that where you can literally that their system that it just goes word of mouth off what the parent says. So basically, if that parent rings up and says they're the Queen of Sheba, they believe her, which is ludicrous. Without proof, is beyond me, absolutely beyond me. They should provide proof also that that parent is in further education. If not, then they should take it as that child is working. Because basically we have to pay now up until that child isn't a child anymore until they're 20 years old. Which to me is mad, because like I say, that child could be earning £9.50 an hour, it could be earning £12.50 an hour, you just do not know, and neither do they. That is a big issue and needs to get sorted. So my proposal is, if anybody is listening and anybody who would like to meet up, we can arrange something. I would like a lot of people there, to be honest with you. The more the merrier, especially if we can get the press and an MP involved, to express our stories and our situations, and get somebody actually listening. Hopefully, by that stage, if we kick up enough stink about it, the government will have to also look at this, especially if we take it through Parliament, and there's a lot of us doing a petition or something like that. If you are interested, I am 110% interested, and I'd back it up 110%. My email is star234551@gmail.com. Please leave me a email, and I'll get chatting to you, and we'll get together. Hopefully there is a lot of people out there that watch this and are willing to meet up. I don't know, it could be a service station, it could be a hotel. We would have to arrange that, and literally go down and arrange for an MP and the press to be there, and get the ball rolling with this, because I think enough's enough now, and it's ludicrous. Thank you for watching. Bye.